everyone, it's Dr. Samantha Smith. I am a home health physical therapist that specializes in knee replacements. And today in this video I have a little friend, my little kitty back here named Kipper. He just had surgery, so he's just resting in the background. But today in this video I wanted to go over how to measure your knee flexion. How much bend do you have in your knee? So really common question. People want to be able to measure their progress on their own. If you're not going to physical therapy anymore, you need to kind of know where you're at with how much knee flexion you're getting. So if you already had your surgery, you know how important it is to get that bend in your knee, and you want to reach about 120 to 125 degrees is the maximum. Some people don't get to 120, 125, and that's okay. You might be able to get to 110, something like that, if you have a little bit more of a stiff knee. But we're going to go over different ways that you can do this on your own. With one way, with using a goniometer, so you can buy this on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below of the one that I have. About $6, $7 on Amazon, so pretty cheap. And if you don't have this or you don't want to buy it, I'll show you a different way to do the measuring, but you won't be able to get like the exact degrees like you do on a goniometer. So the goniometer has, you know, the degrees measured right here. If you don't have one of these, you won't be able to know exactly where you are, but you'll be able to track, you know, your progress a little bit with one of the ways I will show you. So let's get started. To be two different sides to the goniometer. You're going to have one side that's attached. This little leg here is attached to the circle, and then this one is kind of free. So this is the one that does the measuring. So you're going to put the one that's attached on the thigh bone. You want to match it up in the middle of the thigh bone. If you're a PT, we match it up with the greater trochanter. So there's different marking points when we do range of motion measurements. So the first one is the greater trochanter, which is in the middle of the thigh, like right about here. So you want to make sure that this point is lined up right with the greater trochanter, so about in the middle of the thigh. Just make sure that you're not too high and not too low, or you'll get an incorrect measurement. And then this point right here, the middle of the circle here, this fulcrum will go right in the middle of the knee joint. We call this the joint line in PT. So this is going to go right in the middle. This is going to line up with the thigh right in the middle. You see that there. And then this is going to be lined up with the ankle bone down here. So you have this little point on your ankle. This is going to be lined up with that. So that will be how you know you're getting an accurate measurement. So right here, you can see I'm lined up pretty evenly, maybe a little bit more on the top. So when you take the measurement, you're going to have two sets of numbers on either side. You'll know which side you want to read based on just kind of common sense of how much your knee is bending. So we all know that a 90-degree angle is about this. So if you're less than a 90-degree angle, you're going to make sure that you're under 90 degrees. So my measurement right here is at 67. So if I bend my knee more, I'm going to read this top one up here, and I'm about at 110. So you'll know which one to read. It can be kind of confusing because there is two different measurements on either side of this circle right here. But just make sure that you're thinking about, okay, I'm not quite at a 90-degree angle, so you know the number is going to be less than 90. And once I bend it more than 90, I should expect a higher number. That way you know which side you're reading is correct. So pretty easy to do with a goniometer. Another way you can do this is by sitting in a chair, and you're going to monitor your progress by putting a piece of tape on the floor right behind your heel. So we can kind of estimate our range of motion by the degree by just knowing what a right angle is. So right here I have a 90-degree angle. So I know I'm at 90, but how much further I'm pushing back, I will just have to estimate. I won't be able to know exactly how far I'm getting unless I do have a goniometer. But if you don't have a goniometer, this is a great way to monitor your progress. So let's say I'm bending my knee all the way back and I can get it to right about here. So you're going to have a piece of tape and you're going to put it on the floor right behind your heel. And that's how far you're going to stretch every time you go back. So you're going to go here, you're going to bring it back to that piece of tape, and then hopefully every week you'll be able to get a little bit further, and you can move that piece of tape back just a little bit more. That way you know you're making progress with your stretching exercises. So with this particular stretch or technique, you want to make sure that you sit in your chair at the same spot each time. So I recommend having your bottom all the way back in the chair, and also make sure that you don't move your chair because you have this piece of tape on the floor. So just keep this chair in the same place every single time, and then you'll be able to monitor your progress that way. So those are two different ways that you can measure your range of motion, specifically your knee flexion range of motion. So if you don't have a goniometer, just use the tape method to monitor your progress. Again, you won't be able to know the exact degrees by using the tape method, but at least you know you're progressing. Again, I'll link this in the description below, about $6 or $7 on Amazon right now. And then again, I like to mention my Facebook group. If you aren't in my Facebook group, please join. I will link it in the description below as well. It is a Facebook support group that I participate in as well, and I provide evidence-based information, and I answer questions and help kind of guide you to the right questions to ask your PT or surgeon. And I also do monthly live videos in the group as well, where I answer people's specific questions about symptoms they're having, etc. No medical advice given on the Facebook group, of course, but please join. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again next time.